Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day in the new non-braces era, but in between the retainer era that is next week. So let's finish Superman 76 with Mrs. Superman, one of these super sexist Lois stories, a real bad one. I mean, a real bad one, because not only is it super sexist, it almost has non-existent stakes or really much to do with Superman other than Superman being a massive jerk. It's supposed to be like a comedic issue, but the comedy is mostly, haha, Lois is a woman. Lois gets kidnapped right away because she takes a story from Clark she shouldn't have taken. This is no insult to Lois, it's just like Clark got a phone call, she just immediately took the story. That's actually something I quite like about Lois, because screw Clark, I'm gonna get the story, but she always gets punished for it. It's like a weird morality I don't quite agree with. Actually, that's pretty consistent to what the 50s were. Lois tries to hit on Superman, but Superman deflects it by saying that Clark is too smitten by her, so he's not going to ever date her or marry her, which he's already explained the issues with. If Clark is in love with her, so she has to get Clark married. That's it. She'll get Clark married to her blonde roommate, Lorraine. What happened to Peggy? She had a blonde roommate. Her name was Peggy, not Lorraine. Did they forget about Peggy? There's every chance that might actually be true, or they just didn't care about continuity. Both are pretty true. But yes, she now has a blonde roommate named Lorraine who just wants to marry any guy Lois will throw at her. She doesn't know Clark, she knows nothing about Clark, but hell yeah, she'll marry him, almost like she was told that her life doesn't really begin until she marries and has children. So yeah, she'll take any dude. Don't know why I would say that right now. Currently, like something happened. Clark figures out what's going on and decides to use his powers to ruin the dinner date. It actually makes Lorraine feel real bad because it makes her seem like she can't cook. I know this is a very small and sexist thing, but it is super jerky that Superman was doing this to Lorraine. This is all gaslighting. Like progressively, because what he keeps doing is ruining the dates. Even Lois tries to do a double date with Clark and Lorraine and her and Superman builds a robot so he can be there twice, because this is the era where he keeps building lifelike robots. Like he does this a lot right now. Almost every other issue, he's building a lifelike robot. And they go into a tunnel of love, but the robot starts to malfunction, so he makes a papier-mâché dinosaur so he can explain that the robot, Clark, that's passed out is passed out and not a robot that has lost power. At least that's the high point of the comic book. Also, Tunnels of Love would be better with dinosaurs. Everything would be better with dinosaurs. Have I mentioned I'm a 5-year-old kid? So Superman, finally having enough of this, figures out how to end this by making it seem like Superman has fallen in love with Lorraine. And then we get to the real serious, awful stuff here. Lois is so jealous that she actually seems to try to kill Lorraine at one point. Superman saves Lorraine and lets Lois get her comeuppance, but it's still just such an awful view of Lois that she's just super jealous and cares nothing else but to marry Superman, to the point that she's willing to kill anybody in her way. I don't believe this from Lois. I believe this on Lois in getting a story, but not marrying some alien superhuman. Actually, it would be super alien because he's not superhuman. You get what I'm saying. It's just a really awful portrayal of Lois and really just sets her back so far of how these writers seem to think of women, that they're willing to just basically stab each other in the backs to get the specific man, and only this man that they constantly think about. She even has like a signed photo of Superman in her apartment right now. But good news, Lorraine marries her hairdresser. Yes, she had a hairdresser for one scene in the comic, and she seemed to be making eyes at him at that time. And she's been really in love with him. Then why did you agree to the Clark thing? Whatever. It's just thrown together so we can get to a conclusion. Here's the thing. This is not a conclusion to what the original story was about. She needed to marry off Clark. The actual resolution to this is Superman says that he likes Lois because she doesn't care about getting married to some guy she likes today. Almost manipulating her into... Did I say almost? I mean legitimately manipulating her into what he wants, which is a woman who is completely enamored by him but doesn't want actual commitment. Screw Superman. Just legitimately, he is awful to Lois and consistently awful to Lois throughout this series. And I'm really tired of these comedic issues that throw Lois under a bus to a point that I almost expect her to throw herself or someone else who wants to date Superman under a bus. Okay, that is it from Superman 76 and the final story, Mrs. Superman. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notification when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow. And seriously, what happened to Peggy? Did she kill Peggy? Did Superman look at her? Okay, have a great day.